My sister texted, "You're out. Don't show up to the wedding, broke people don't fit the theme." Mom reacted with a heart. I replied, "Good, I'll stop funding it then." They laughed all evening. But when the payments failed at sunrise, the group chat exploded. Everything had changed. It all started with a text message that I shouldn't have taken seriously. Or maybe I did. It was a typical Wednesday night, quiet and uneventful. I had just finished folding laundry and was about to reheat the leftovers of a fried food when my phone rang. I glanced at it casually. It was from Amanda. "My sister, my only sister, my future bride. You're out. Don't come to the wedding, homeless people don't fit in." That was it. No context. No emojis. No laughter. Just like that. Before I could process what I had read, another notification arrived. A heartfelt reaction. From my mom. She didn't add a comment or follow-up reply. She just liked Amanda's message as if she had signed it. At first I thought it was a mistake. A group message gone wrong? Was it meant for someone else? But there it was. My name, my number, my family. It wasn't a mistake. I stood in the kitchen, staring at this message as if it were written in another language. As if I blinked hard enough it would change. But it didn't. It just sat there on the screen, glowing, echoing in my mind like a slap in the face, replaying over and over. Let me rewind for a second. I'm Agnes. I'm not rich, but I'm stable. Or I was before Amanda's wedding started to wear me down. I'd helped pay for things from the beginning. At first it was little things. The cake tasting fee. The down payment on the dress. Then it became more. The florist. The photographer. Even the inflated prices for the luxury portable toilets. She insisted on because the bathrooms in the hall weren't bride-worthy. Whenever something went wrong with Amanda or my mom, I would step in. Because I was told, family supports family. And because I truly believed that it applied to both sides. But apparently I was wrong. They weren't kidding. There was no funny moment. Oh, got it. Just silence after I said once. Okay, then I'll stop funding it. I expected a negative reaction. I expected pleading. I expected my mom to call and scold Amanda, or at least pretend to be neutral. What I didn't expect was for them to completely ignore it. Instead, the group chat, which included Amanda, me, my mom, a few of Amanda's bridesmaids, and Amanda's fiancé, came alive with inside jokes and laughing emojis, as if I had just been eliminated from some sick reality show. Amanda posted a meme about snakes removing themselves, and then fewer mouths to feed. One of her bridesmaids responded with, "Drop caw." My mom just sent a bunch of pink hearts and glitter. And that was it. I didn't say anything else. I didn't need to. I kept quiet for months, letting them pile things onto my plate, each time asking for one more thing. I set up most of the payments in my name. The venue deposit, the caterer, the tent rental, the decor company, even the custom chairs that Amanda insisted were aesthetically necessary. So I made one phone call. To the bank. And I deactivated the card. The one they didn't even know about wasn't a bottomless gift from a generous big sister, but my own carefully planned savings account with a set limit. I froze the automatic payments. I called the vendors. I explained that the funding source had been cut. That if they hadn't been paid yet, they wouldn't be paid. That any future payments would be declined. The florist was understanding. The photographer was furious. The rental company said they would come pick up the chairs if full payment wasn't made within 24 hours. I said I wouldn't pay for any of it. No more. And then I waited. By sunrise it was all over. First Amanda. "What the hell did you do? It's all cancelled." The mom. "Agnes, call me now." Then Amanda again. The caterer refused. They said the payment was open. "Did you overpay the bill?" Then an unknown number. "Hi Agnes, this is Lauren, the wedding coordinator. Amanda is panicking. Can we talk? There's been a huge misunderstanding." It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was clarity. Neither of them realized that everything they took for granted, the entire foundation of Amanda's dream wedding, had been built on me. Silently. Without acknowledgement. Without thanks. They thought I was a secondary character in their little fantasy. They were wrong. By 9 a.m., Amanda's fiancé had texted me directly for the first time in weeks. "This is going to ruin everything. You need to fix this." But I didn't answer. Because for the first time in months I didn't feel bankrupt. I felt like the only person in this whole wedding circus who understood what it meant to give something away without being respectful. And that was just the beginning. By noon that same day, my phone was buzzing non-stop. I muted the group chat, but the messages kept rolling in. Direct texts, voicemails, even Instagram DMs from people I hadn't spoken to since high school. Word had gotten out fast, and Amanda was spinning it like I'd sabotaged the wedding out of jealousy. But the real story was uglier. I didn't say anything publicly. I didn't respond. I just watched it unravel. First came the caterer. They pulled out completely when the balance wasn't paid. Amanda tried to tell them it was a processing issue, but they weren't interested. A wedding for 130 people gone. No food, no refund, and now no backup lined up with only 9 days to go. Then the tent company emailed that they'd be by Friday morning to reclaim their inventory. Turns out they had never been paid in full, just enough to reserve the date. I'd paid that. And now they wanted the rest, or they were pulling everything. No tent meant no outdoor ceremony. Amanda posted a frantic story asking if anyone had a hookup with wedding rentals ASAP, like this was just some quirky little hiccup. It wasn't. I got a text from Rachel, one of Amanda's bridesmaids who I actually liked. We'd never been super close, but we'd talked enough that I knew she wasn't like the others. Her message just said, "What happened? Are you okay?" I told her I was fine, that I wasn't going to talk about it. She replied, "I figured. This whole thing's been messed up. I'm honestly thinking about backing out too. Let me know if you need anything." That meant more than I expected. Meanwhile, Mom wasn't even pretending to mediate. She went straight to defense mode, calling me vindictive in the family group chat and saying I was embarrassing the whole family over a couple of bills. As if she hadn't been the one asking me to spot this one thing real quick, every week since March. I didn't argue. I didn't correct her. They had made their choice. And then the real damage started. Amanda's fiancé Derek called me, which was bold considering he'd barely said 2 words to me since the engagement party, where I paid for the open bar because he forgot his wallet. He didn't yell. He sounded tired, like someone who realized the house he built was made of paper. He said, "I didn't know you were covering all that. Amanda told me your parents were helping, that everything was handled." I didn't reply. He said, "I'm not trying to take sides, but I didn't sign up for this kind of mess." That was the first time I realized it might not just be the wedding collapsing. There was more fallout. Fast. The decorator backed out. They were halfway through making the customized installations Amanda had demanded, hanging chandeliers, floral arches, gold-trimmed place settings. All non-refundable, all halfway paid and now completely on hold. Amanda started posting vague things on Facebook about disloyal people showing their true colors, and people started commenting things like, "Praying for you, girl," and "block the haters." She still hadn't figured out this wasn't about money. It was about how easily they decided I was disposable once I'd outlived my usefulness. Mom tried again that night. This time she left me a voicemail. She said she was disappointed. That she didn't raise me to be so cold. That Amanda was having a breakdown and I was ruining what should be the happiest day of her life. I deleted it without listening to the rest. Because somewhere in between the catering invoices and the fake gratitude, I'd finally understood what my place in this family really was. They didn't love me. They used me. And they thought I'd never notice. But now that the machine had stopped, now that the music had cut out and the bills were sitting unpaid on someone else's desk, I wasn't the one looking small anymore. Amanda was. And the panic hadn't even peaked yet. By Friday I was getting texts from people I barely remembered existed. A cousin I hadn't spoken to in 2 years messaged me out of nowhere. "Hey, any chance you can help get Amanda's wedding back on track? She's spiraling." Another bridesmaid sent a voice note I didn't bother opening. I didn't owe them that. Then Rachel, the only one who'd shown any decency so far, texted again. "It's getting bad. You should see the group chat without you." I asked what she meant. She told me Amanda had made a new chat after kicking me out of the original one. Said it was too toxic with Agnes in there, like I was the one who dropped a grenade into her wedding. But apparently, Amanda was unraveling in it, blaming vendors, blaming her planner, even blaming Rachel, who had done nothing but try to calm her down. By noon, Rachel had officially backed out as a bridesmaid. Said she was done with the drama and wouldn't be attending the wedding at all. I thanked her quietly and didn't ask for details. She didn't owe me an explanation. Meanwhile, Amanda was still trying to pull things back together. She launched a GoFundMe. I almost laughed when I saw it. The title was, "Help Us Save Our Dream Wedding Ring Sparkles." The description made it sound like some tragedy had happened. Due to unexpected betrayal by a family member, we've lost critical funding days before our ceremony. Any help is appreciated. She didn't name me, but the subtext wasn't subtle. She played the victim so well she even started getting donations. People who didn't know any better were leaving comments like, "So sorry you're going through this," and sending prayers. Don't let toxic people ruin your moment. That word kept coming up. I hadn't told my side of the story to anyone. Not once. I didn't post about it. I didn't vent. I just turned off the faucet and watched how fast the garden withered. And it got worse. That night, I got a call from my Aunt Julia. One of the few people in our extended family I still had some connection with. She was always neutral. Always kept to herself. But this time she didn't. She said, "I'm sorry. I just found out what happened. Amanda's been spinning lies to everyone. She said you canceled things out of spite." I asked her what she thought. She said, "I think you've been carrying them all for years and they noticed only when you stopped." She told me she wasn't going to the wedding either. Said she didn't want to support a celebration built on manipulation. That hit me harder than I expected. Not because I needed the validation, but because someone finally saw it clearly without me having to explain. I hadn't been asking anyone to take sides. I just wanted someone to stop pretending everything was normal. And just when I thought I'd seen it all, Derek's mom called me. Derek's mom. I'd only met her once, during the engagement dinner. She was polite if a little stiff. But now she sounded panicked. She said, "I need to ask you something. Did Amanda really have you paying for the wedding? All of it?" I told her yes. She went quiet for a second and then said, "That's not what she told us. She told us it was all taken care of by your parents. She even said you were the maid of honor because you insisted on it." I wasn't the maid of honor. Never was. Amanda gave that role to one of her sorority friends because she thought it would look better in photos. Derek's mom sighed and said, "I don't want to get in the middle of this, but my son is marrying someone who's lied about almost everything. I thought you should know he's having second thoughts." I didn't say anything. I just thanked her for calling. After we hung up, I sat on the edge of my bed and realized something. This wasn't just about a wedding anymore. This was about all the cracks that had been hiding behind white tablecloths and Pinterest boards finally breaking open. And I had stopped being their human glue stick. Amanda thought she was punishing me by excluding me from her wedding. But she had accidentally pulled the pin on her own grenade. And she was the one still holding it. Only a week left. Saturday morning, I woke up to no new messages. Not from Amanda. Not from Mom. Not even from strangers trying to guilt me into fixing things. It was quiet. Unnaturally quiet. I thought maybe they'd given up. Maybe the GoFundMe saved them or Derek's family stepped in. But then I got a text from Rachel. "You're not gonna believe this. Derek left." Just that. I called her and she picked up right away. Said he packed a bag late last night and left their shared apartment. No dramatic fight, no shouting. Just told Amanda he needed space and wasn't sure he wanted to marry someone who could lie that easily, and watch it all burn without blinking. Amanda lost it. Screaming, throwing things, demanding he come back. Neighbors called the building manager. She even tried calling Rachel, begging her to talk to Derek on her behalf. Rachel said no. That silence I woke up to? It was just the breath they were all holding before the full collapse. By Monday, Amanda's GoFundMe was gone. Deleted. No explanation. No refund post. Just vanished. Someone must have reported it. Maybe Derek's mom, maybe someone who finally figured out the truth. Either way, donations stopped, and whatever money she had scraped together wasn't close to what she needed. The wedding venue sent a mass cancellation notice to vendors and guests. Someone forwarded it to me. It didn't even come from Amanda. It was from the planner. Cold and impersonal. No reschedule, no postponement. Just, the ceremony between Amanda R. and Derek M. will not take place on the scheduled date. No one said the word canceled, but that's what it was. Then Mom called. I let it ring. She left a voicemail again. Said Amanda wasn't eating, that she hadn't left the apartment, that this whole thing has gone too far. Too far. Like I'd set this in motion for sport. Like they hadn't made the first move with that text. kicking me out like I was baggage. She said, "Agnes, we're family. You don't turn your back on family." But that's exactly what they did. When I was paying, I was family. When I stopped, I was a threat. Aunt Julia called again that night. She said Amanda was blaming me to anyone who would listen. Said Mom was still pretending like this could all be patched up if I just apologized. Apologized. For not being rich enough to fit their theme, apparently. That was the night I blocked both of them. Mom and Amanda. Gone from my phone. Gone from my inbox. Gone from anything I could control. Not out of spite. Out of survival. 3 weeks passed. I didn't reach out. Didn't unblock. Didn't explain myself to anyone. I stayed quiet and let the silence do the talking. Amanda never rescheduled the wedding. Derek moved in with his brother across town. I heard through Rachel that he'd returned the ring. No dramatic speech. Just left it on the coffee table and walked out. Their engagement photos were wiped from Instagram. The wedding website went offline. The girl who used to post 5 stories a day with countdown timers and champagne emojis disappeared completely. I checked once just to see. Amanda's profile was private now. Probably flooded with questions she couldn't answer. Mom didn't try again. Not once. I think she expected me to come crawling back like I always did. But this time I didn't. Because something inside me had finally snapped into place. Not broken but locked. Like a door I should have closed years ago. Aunt Julia and I had dinner one night. She slid an envelope across the table. Inside were receipts, copies of the checks I'd written, screenshots of my transfers, a full breakdown she'd quietly gathered. She said, "You might need this one day. Not for revenge. For clarity." I nodded. I tucked it away. Not to use but to remember. Rachel texted me sometimes. Just funny stuff, memes, random updates. She invited me out once and said, "You deserve to be around people who don't need something from you to treat you like you matter." I went. It was the first time in months I laughed without checking my phone. No wedding. No apology. No resolution. Just peace. The kind that only comes when you stop chasing people who celebrate you when you're useful and erase you when you're not. And that text, the one that started it all, I never deleted it. Not to hang on to the hurt, but to remind myself what it cost to finally walk away.